Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and thank you if you already subscribed to the channel. If you're not, please click subscribe. If you are or you're not, please hit the thumbs up button. All that stuff helps grows the channel, and I thank you for it. All right, so we're going to talk about the first half of the Bears' first preseason game against the Chiefs. First off, let me give you some advice, some strong, important advice, which I've done many times before, but I need to say it again. It's true in football, and it's true in a lot of different areas of life. You have to understand the context when you're talking about projecting into the future. If you don't understand the context and you just take the raw information, you're not going to have an accurate projection. Meaning, when it comes to the preseason, please do not become these people going crazy about the preseason. We're better Bears fans. The context matters. I see so many now I get the media and all the content makers, they need content. They're going to just blow this stuff up. But as fans, don't get swept into it. It's so silly. Some people asking dumb questions. Is this person going to be a Hall of Famer? Like, really? Because they made a play in the preseason? Let's not do that. Context matters. Yes, these people are fast. People see someone run and go crazy. What'd you think? He was going to be slow when he got here? You knew that person was fast. Okay, they made a play in the NFL. Cool, but it's the preseason. A is not the starters most of the time. B is not the actual game plan scheme. And C is not the preparation game plan from your team that you're usually going to see. So you're going to get more from the opponent, and you're going to get more from your own team going into a regular season game. And obviously the competition level is going to be higher. So not to say that these people can't eventually do things, but do not, I don't care who it is, go crazy over a player in the preseason. It's just so silly to me. So I have to say that because you look at, if you watch the first half or if you watch any preseason game, certain players do some, things that are okay. Then they make a big play later on in the game when it's the third stringers. Chiefs just had their third quarterback in a second or third rotation of offensive linemen. Once you do that, it's basically the USFL. You should be making plays. So don't go crazy over those things. Now, with that being said, I was very interested to see how many starters played both sides. I know the Bears were young and we're trying to get reps and all that, but the Chiefs, that was shocking. I was not expecting to see Mahomes today. So we got to see Mahomes, pretty much all the starters for the most part that were healthy. And yeah, it looked like the Chiefs versus the Bears. So we already know how that would go. I don't know if any of you was expecting to do anything against Mahomes, but in the regular season, I would not have that expectation if you went up against the Chiefs. So it is what it is. A few things I'm going to talk about because, again, I'm not going to stretch out too much opinions from the preseason, taking my own advice, but it's some things that I noticed. Number one, and I put it up there, Braxton Jones looks good. Like I don't be watching the training camp videos and all that crap. I don't do all that. The last time I saw him was the Senior Bowl. And so he's definitely got a lot bigger since then. His lower body was always thin from waist down, and it still is. But it's a little bigger, and his upper body's bigger too. He's 310, so I don't remember what his playing weight was at school. I know the Senior Bowl, he had tried to get a little weight up for that, but, during his playing time, he was very light. He was under 300, definitely. So at 310, he's looking a lot more filled out. And so that's a good sign. As I said yesterday, I don't know these people. He could have very much came in here the same or worse, but he came in here working out and putting his body together, so that's a good sign. As far as what he did on the field, I mean, look, as I say, he's an undersized tackle. His calling card was athleticism and movement, so that's there. But then on top of that, like I said, just seeing what he can do with the strength. Now, who he was going up against, I don't even know who that guy was necessarily, but he wasn't given much, 51. And he definitely wasn't a power player. So we still have yet to see that challenge. What is it going to look like when he goes up against a power player? And look, overall, I don't expect any rookie offensive lineman, let alone a 5th-round pick from a small school, to come in here and handle the, top pass rushers. But I think he definitely is going to have a lot more struggle with stronger guys. So we got to see how they do with the bull rush. Excuse me, with the bull rush. One thing I did notice is that they pretty much had a tight end next to him or motion to him almost every play. And so I don't necessarily think that means something, but I do think it's going to be part of helping both sides of this offensive line. So again, not trying to shade them. It's just the truth of what we saw. The run game, look, the most of the NFL that is concerned with this passing, I would say passing stuff, but I would say this. I think in the building, most of these coaches and everything, they all understand the balance. They understand it's not as crazy as some of the fans and the media like to make it. But there's still, a lot of components to the passing game, and some more and more people that really want to focus more on the passing game. And so those offenses tend to just run the same zone stuff. And that's all we did. I mean, we didn't run nothing different than we ran the last 5 years. On top of that, it's the preseason. So even if we were going to be more dynamic, they're not going to show it right now. So the zone stuff was all the same. But Braxton looked comfortable. He looks good in the zone. Typically, that's what you're going to have with these guys that are not power players. So, and that's another thing we haven't seen him do is get in a situation where it's man on man, having to make a base block in a power or gap scheme. And, we might not do a lot of that. Who knows? So overall, I don't know. I don't know. The Chiefs aren't like sack artists. They blitz more than anything. And that guy that he was, like I said, he was going up against wasn't given much. So we will have to see more as we go into the regular season. But I'm encouraged by the sign that he at least, took this offseason seriously. Sean Coleman looked terrible. Just throw that out there. I know he's been out of football a little bit. He looked horrible. I really hope he's not on our roster. Borum actually ended up playing right tackle, which, like I said, when I was going with depth chart, more than likely he'll be a swing tackle. Now, it's a nitpick. On the depth chart, you could put him in 2 places, but they only put him in 1. So I thought that was interesting, which is the left side. But he started on the right because Riley Reif didn't play today. And so there's that. Schofield got bullied by Chris Jones. What's new? What's new? And so, yeah, my eyes were really fixated on Braxton Jones and some of the other O-line most of the game. That's really what I was watching a lot for, to see if anything was standing out. Tevin Jenkins got in a little bit towards the end of the second quarter. And look, I mean, look, if he don't like them or if he just doesn't like football or whatever, I don't know. I don't think you could see that on the field necessarily. Maybe they see it every day in practice, but on the field, he's a big dude going out there doing his job, so he looks like he did last year. But one thing, you notice very easily is he's a strong dude. He's a people mover. The levels and strength is just different. So that's interesting, but he didn't get to do too much. He did get a penalty for being downfield, but that was it. So then the secondary, Brisker, I think, I don't know, maybe one play I saw him in deep coverage. Again, we're not running our full scheme, but it was interesting. He was, he didn't always line up in the box, but he ended up in the box every play that Eddie Jackson was out there. And so, I don't know, that'll be interesting. Maybe they're trying to get him reps. But like I said, coming out, that's all he did. I never seen him any deep coverage in Penn State. So I'm really, really curious to what that's going to look like. And if he's going to be a guy that eventually they just want in the nickel, or blitzing, kind of like Jamal Adams, but he's not built that way. So I don't know. I like I said, that was a question mark I had coming out of college. And after this game, that didn't really change a whole lot. I'm really curious when we get into our full schemes what it's going to look like, because I have yet to really see him make a play in deep coverage. So he was in his comfort zone. And to me, he obviously made some plays later. But again, you're talking about the third string quarterback. Chad Henne had like one drive. And so they went to the third quarterback quick. And so, yeah, he made some plays, but it wasn't against Mahomes or nothing. And I know Mahomes is a high bar, but the early parts, Mahomes and Henne, I felt like Brisker was, his eyes got stuck, or his feet got stuck in the ground. His feet wasn't moving with his eyes. A lot of times he would hop around in the same spot and not get to where he needed to be because he was just staring down the quarterback. And that's a young, defensive back. So that's really going to happen, a lot. But that's one thing. Hopefully he notices and continues to work, because it's the same thing that happens to quarterbacks. And you see it with Justin Fields too. They get... They know all the information, they ready to see it, and they get so stuck in waiting to see it that their body's not reacting at the same time. And so that was interesting, but Brisker's going to be pretty much what we thought, a lot like Adrian Amos in the way that we used him before, and, Eddie Jackson obviously playing deep. So we'll see how that works. Because every free safety a year older, you don't know when the range is going to fall off. But also, you just can't be single high all the time. You just can't. So, because people going to start bombing on you. And so, I can't wait to see just kind of what coverages Eberflus and everybody wants to roll out. But, he was fine. He was fine. He's a gamer. We knew that. And I was sad we didn't get to see Kyler Gordon out there, but, Brisker was cool. The D-line is very clearly the talent gap. You can see it. Even though we didn't have Roquan and these linebackers aren't, all that, the talent gap was clearly with the D-line, very clearly. And so Robert Quinn, we know what he can give you. But in Muhammad, I think he moves very well, very as far as moving ability, strength, and quickness. I like it all. Does that mean he could put together a pass rush and all that? We'll have to see. We know he's listed as the backup, and clearly Robert Quinn was playing, he would have been starting. So they're going to do some rotations. They're going to do a lot of games and stuff with the D-line when it comes to third down. So I'll say this, with Khalil Mack, Robert Quinn, Akeem Hicks, Goldman, Nickel, full strength, we had to manufacture pressure because we couldn't just get it off the rush. So now we're using all their backups pretty much. So, of course, we're going to still have to manufacture pressure. So we're going to find ways to blitz and to get movement going, because straight up pass rush is not going to get it done. It's not going to get it done whatsoever. So, it's pretty much going to be the same story that it's been with the defense. But the linebackers, I believe all of them had some type of experience with these coaches. Usually that's what happens. So they play hard. They know they got guys that'll go out and play hard and be veterans. Morrow, they all look, sharp. So I think we should have kept Ogletree personally. But none of them, I think, are difference makers like Roquan. So, I don't know that they're going to, change anything. Really, like I said, the secondary, we got the most talent. The linebackers will be okay, but the D-line, that's going to be the rebuilding area right there. So, like I said, I don't want to comment too much on coaching and any of these things that you really can't take strong evidence from in the preseason. Again, the context. You look at the people they're around, look at the opponents they're playing. The play calling is shrunk, so you don't want to take too much. And I know that's what the announcers are going to do because they want to keep you interested. I know that's what all the media is going to do because they want to keep you interested. But do not be one of those people. I'm trying to tell you. this stuff is not going to have a huge bearing. So just be aware of that. And the last thing I'll say, because the announcers were saying this, and again, I know it's their job, but it pissed me off. The 4-3 stuff does not matter. It does not matter at all. I mean, very, very little. People, you have to realize we are going to be in, if you want to call it a subset, 70 to 85% of the time. Whether that's a nickel, whether that's dime with Houston Carson, whatever, no matter what it is, we're not going to be in a 4-3 set that often. And so the 3-4-4, it don't matter. As I said, it typically changes what type of players you get as far as on the D line, but other than that, it don't matter. All this, the linebackers are playing DN now. That's so stupid. Outside line, I'm not even gonna get into it. It does not matter. That's all I'll say. The even and odd front stuff won't matter. We're going to be in the even front like every team in the NFL, because every team in the NFL is in nickel over 70% of the time. So we're just don't worry about that. I know people want to bring it up a lot. It don't matter. It really don't matter. So that's it for me. I'm probably sure I missed something, but go down in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about the preseason game versus the Chiefs. Share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.